There are several gangs of different ethnicities living in District 13, and everything from drug dealing to illegal gun sales is typical in this region. Leto is always on the run from the law because he is trying to break the barrier protecting District 13 from outsiders. Lotto makes it to the region of African criminals, March. Instead, he gave the order to fire against the advancing police until his soldiers successfully repulsed them. After that, Lotto and March had a conversation during which Lotto voiced his dissatisfaction with the administration for its failure to effectively administer District 13 as promised 3 years before. Later on, March delivers a shipment of cocaine concealed in watermelons to an area controlled by Chinese triads. An employee called Rudd used the substance first, and then he gave some to his boss. But unbeknownst to them, Captain Damien, a police officer posing as a prostitute at whose place, was watching their every move. Whoever Damien took captive, he quickly tied their wrists and detained them until he notified the crew waiting outside. But whose men blocked Damien's team from entering the building? By maintaining his persona, Damien is able to catch whose clients in his web. They each went in turn and had an anesthetic administered by Damien, 5 of whose men rushed to shoot down the door in an effort to rescue their boss, and once inside, they immediately began attacking Damien. However, he was able to single-handedly vanquish the enemy. Damien finished the task. On a different note, Commander Walter Gassman of the Department of Internal State Security and his aide Roland are given a bag full of cash as part of a criminal plan to construct a high-end apartment complex in District 13. The first step in Walter's strategy is to have the dismembers set up District 13's residents as criminals. In one instance, police were questioning 2 ladies in a car who did not have valid driver's licenses. They were eventually ordered to exit the vehicle. But not long later Roland returned and urged them to let them go. After killing the 2 officers, he drove off with their bodies still inside the police vehicle. Nearby, a group of young males witnessed what was going on and managed to video it all from inside a vehicle. In the District 13 neighborhood, in front of the headquarters of African criminals, the truck carrying the car and the 2 police corpses unloaded its cargo. Roland then began fire to provoke the gangsters into firing at the police vehicle, and they fell for his trap. Roland then made a recording of the encounter to use as justification for the government to destroy District 13. The following morning, while Damien was waking up, he was suddenly surrounded by scores of law enforcement officers. He was arrested when narcotics were discovered in his kitchen. It turned out that Walter Gassman had set up a trap and the ambush was all a ruse. At the same time, the president has seen video of the shooting of a police vehicle by thugs in District 13. He thinks it has the potential to escalate into a national crisis that may lead to a civil war and bring down his administration. The general recommended they send Disc Commander Walter Gassman to handle with the situation. Over time, video of the police shot has spread extensively, angering all security services. Walter is taken aback to see 3 young guys photographing their secret operation as he watches the clip back at Disc headquarters. That led to the hunt for and eventual arrest of the 3 teenagers. While Damien was being put in his cell, he attacked 2 guards with a chokehold to get his phone back. He immediately called Lotto, claiming he'd been falsely accused. Spies, led by Roland, were sent to Lotto's house with the intention of capturing him. Fortunately, Lotto's trap on the door worked, and he was able to escape via the window, ran into the next structure and jumped in. While being pursued by DIS operatives, Lotto took to the streets, where he leapt and ran. Lotto surrenders himself to the police, but they are unable to hold him since he has not been charged with a crime. The cops took him to a detention cell when he hit his head on one of them, but later he returned to action and broke into the facility in order to release Damien. When Lotto and Damien are finally reunited, they have to escape the police station immediately. The president didn't understand the situation, but Walter kept threatening him until he arrested every criminal in District 13. He also proposed that the president make the territory completely flat and reserved for the richest citizens. There was no other option, except for the president to order the elimination of all criminal organizations in District 13. There is no time to waste. The focus then shifts to an escaped Leto who, after sharing his story with Damien, explains the film of Dis's secret operation. On the other hand, Damien and Leto required more concrete proof than just the recording to bring this to justice. Since they needed to get into Walter's room to steal it, they had to take action again, Lotto gets into Walter's room and connects a hard drive to Walter's computer as Damien fights them. Simultaneously, Roland and his men attacked Damien, but the latter and his companion Leto were able to flee. Large numbers of people in District 13 have started evacuating. On the other hand, Lotto and Damien are now making their way there in an effort to recruit Dao, a tattooed lady who was the leader of a reputable gang in District 13. The data was taken from Walter's stolen hard drive. Soon after, they discovered that Walter intended to bomb District 13, and helicopters arrived to mark the area. About 5 hours remained until the missile launches, but Damien had a plan to foil the bombing of those places. So Dao invited the gangster leaders and representatives and requested them to join Lotto and Damien. The general tells the president in private that 1 million people have left District 13, but that a few thousand are still there. After learning that the president had second thoughts about attacking District 13, he ordered the evacuation of all people. Walter, however, insisted that the president immediately dispatch an expedition. Then, a suitcase containing missile launchers was presented to the president. Concurrently, a band of criminals worked their way inside the Oval Office in order to expose Walter Gassman's shady dealings. Finally, the president decided not to fire the missiles since he didn't want any unrest to break out. So Walter threatened the president once again, this time insisting that the offenders should be killed. Meanwhile, thugs sparked a disturbance outside the Élysée Palace, the French president's official home. Once inside, Damien and the others were able to render the president's guards helpless. Roland went down after receiving a single, solid kick to the crotch. District 13 was, however, but Lotto and his colleagues got in barely in time before the president could click the button. In a flash, they played the audio and video proof of a crime committed on Disson Walter Gassman's instructions. Walter decides to hold the president hostage and blackmail him into ordering a missile strike since he knows his original plot has been revealed. Lotto successfully diverted Walter's attention long enough for Damien to kick him before the president complied. The president praised Damien, Lotto, Dao and other gang leaders. To that end, Lotto presented the president with a plan to transform District 13 into a pleasant, secure place to live. Even after the missiles were fired, the president had to fulfill his pledge to revitalize District 13. This was a French movie called District 13. Feel free to check it out, and let us know in the comments what you guys thought of this movie. Also, lessons and takeaway you had from it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and check out other movie summaries we have on our channel.